What is up guys, my name is Wong and we are back with another video. Today I've got something really special right behind me. This is an ultimate green 2009 Mark II Focus RS. Now this car is extremely rare worldwide, and in Australia alone there are only 315 cars delivered ever. So it's a really rare example of a hot hatchback. So what makes this car truly special is that 2.5 litre 5-pot engine paired to a 6-speed close ratio manual transmission gearbox. Look at the way that this car looks. I mean, those vented bonnets there, these huge muscly arches here on the car. It really looks super chunky, and as soon as you see it on the road, you will know that this car is truly something special and extremely unique. And it's not joking around whatsoever. Ford designed this car in 2009. So if you guys can imagine, this car is 10 years old with looks and performance to match cars of today's age. And I'm so excited and I can't wait to drive this car. They really don't make cars like this in today's age. Jeez, the power really surges and it kicks you in the back of your seat and you're gone. This car revs out at 7,000 RPM in this 5-cylinder engine. And you know what? I wish that so many other cars had this engine configuration, because when it's a 5-cylinder engine, it sounds really unique and unlike 4 cylinders, and even unlike 6 cylinders, it sounds very distinct. And actually, it's really quite motorsport-like. Taking these corners here at some really quick speed, it handles it very well. This car is front-wheel drive and it scrambles to get traction at the front wheels. It's not all-wheel drive like its newer counterparts, so you have to be very careful with the way that you drive this car. It really requires a lot of involvement. It's not all-wheel drive, and it's quite hairy when you're getting up at speed through these corners. You got to be really aware of what you're doing. You can't be sleeping behind the wheel of this Focus RS. And I think after driving a Mark III, the new 2019 models, they're so different, and the characteristics of these cars, they couldn't be more different actually. Now, something about this car that makes it truly special is that it's a 5-pot engine. It's a 2.5 litre 5-cylinder engine, and it pushes out 224 kilowatts, 300 horsepower at 6,500 RPM. Now, this car is a machine of a car. Can you imagine that this car came out 10 years ago in 2009? And with performance and sound and handling characteristics like this is a front-wheel drive car, and I'm gunning it out here in some awesome B roads in Australia, Melbourne, and I'm loving it. Listen to that sound of this car. It is truly intoxicating, and it's handling all these roads so well as well. So as you can see, it's actually starting to pour down here. But we're going to be able to try and manage this car out here because it is extremely capable, and despite it being front-wheel drive, it is still super manageable in these terrains. And the suspension is quite firm, but it's also very compliant as well. This car is quite scary to drive quickly. You really have to be careful with what you're doing. This car is 1,400 kilos, but it's pushing out so much power that it's quite hard to manage in these small twisty roads. You really have to be very careful, and you have to finesse it through all these corners because it takes a whole lot out of you. This is a hydraulic steering rack. It's not like the new Mark III where it's electronic. So you're gonna have to really hold on to the steering wheel. You gotta be aware of what you're doing, and you have to drive it very, very carefully. But once you're on it and you know what you're doing with this car, it really comes alive out here. And I think even on a track, this car will be so much fun. But you gotta be really careful with this thing, because I've been driving this car for quite a while now, and I'm still very nervous as I drive it. My palms are actually so sweaty, so you got to be careful. But once you have mastered the learning curve of this vehicle, it's truly so engaging, it's so visceral, and thank God there's a giveaway here. I can Just calm down, because this is actually seriously insane. So we're gunning it here now. First gear, red line, second gear, scrambling for traction, third gear now, and this car is super quick. This is a 2009 vehicle. It's 10 years old and it's flying out these streets. Holy moly. Oh my god. And this Focus RS is the definition of how driver's cars should be. It shouldn't be easy where you jump into, turn the key, point and shoot, and you're flying in these cars and the electronics do everything. This car requires a lot of involvement. There is traction control, but it's close to nothing. You really have to be managing this car completely. There's no cruise control. It's got the basic things that you need, like AC, a radio, and it's got that big plaque over here that says the amount of cars that were delivered. So this is 251 of the 315 that were ever delivered to Australia. So it is a very rare example to come by, and when you see one on the streets, straight away you will know that this car is quite a serious machine. It's in screaming bright green. You could call it a Lamborghini color, but as Ford call it, they call it ultimate green, and I think it really suits this car. Drop a few gears, and straight away the power comes on and you're gone. Now, this car is bone stock. It has never been modified ever before in its entire life, in its 10 years. This car has done over 78,000 kilometers on the clock, which is about 40,000 miles, and this car honestly feels as tight as a drum. So these stock low kilometer prime pristine examples go for about 35 to 40,000 Australian dollars. That is a whole lot of money, and if you actually take it into consideration, a Mark III, a new Focus RS, actually goes for similar money, if not less. So honestly, that begs the question to whether or not you should buy a Mark II Focus RS or a Mark III Focus RS. And they're completely different cars. This car is a little bit rougher, it's a bit bumpier, it requires a whole lot of involvement every time you're behind the wheel. I mean, if you want a daily drive car, I think a Mark III, the new Focus RS, will be a lot more suitable for you. If you want something that's a little bit more on edge, a little bit more rewarding, a little bit more driver involvement, this Focus RS has definitely got that down for you. And remember guys, this car is bone stock. So with a coilover setup, with an aftermarket exhaust, this car will truly transform itself to a whole new beast. So thank you guys for watching this video. I had such a good time driving this Ford Focus Mark II RS. It's been a true pleasure. If you guys like this video, please give it a thumbs up. It really helps the channel go a long way. Leave in the comments below what you like about this car as well, and consider subscribing because it really helps the channel go a long way. And as always guys, I will see you in the next video, so take care. See you soon. Everything about this car is designed to be the ultimate driver's car.